and welcome to Spirit Connections with Ed and Lauri. My name is Lauri Albert.
My name is Ed Torres. Welcome.
And we are here to provide you with a unique take on the world of mediumship and what it's about and why we do it and how we do it, and because we have so many people that ask us questions all the time, don't we?
Oh my God, yes.
Like, how is this possible, you know, kind of stuff.
Right.
So we figured, let's just do a YouTube show for it, right? What are we going to talk about today, Ed?
So I think what we would like to do is touch on the subject of being a good sitter. So you have
Well, what is a sitter?
Exactly. Thank you.
Sorry.
No, that's good. Laura's a medium. Somebody comes to her. That would be the sitter. Somebody who she's going to do a reading for. So you don't want to give the medium too much information. You want to let them work.
And because you know what? It's actually easier, believe this or not, it's easier for the medium to do a reading when they know nothing about the person.
Oh my gosh.
When I know nothing about the person and they walk in the door, it's like blank slate, and my confidence is really high and all that stuff. But when you know the person, you kind of, it's hard, you got to balance,
Yes.
you know, so go ahead.
I know.
And I just wanted to point that out because it's legit.
For instance, a mother's coming through, or a grandmother. Oh, that's my mom. Let us finish. Her talking about now something about her character, personality, very honest, very open. Oh yes, she worked at the church. Don't tell us those things, because it really makes it harder for us. It really does. That's something that would have been very important in her life. The fact that she was a churchgoer, but worked in the church. That would have been something that would have meant something if the medium said it. So be very aware of when you go for a sitting, you don't give too much information. The best answers are the yeses and nos, or you're just not sure. Just not sure.
Right. Now, it's what happens to me, and I don't know if you find this to be true too, but once we get going with the reading and we're sure that it's one specific person, like we're sure it's your mother that's here, and we've gotten all this verification and it's fine, then we can sort of be interactive. I do, because you know what, I want you to tell me some stuff, because it kind of helps build her energy, or you know, whoever the spirit is that's theirs energy. So it really kind of helps out. Do you find that to be true for you?
You know, that's a really good point. Grief is like a wall that you put up to protect yourself. You know, not only from people who you interact with, but also from those in the spirit world. And so when you go to a sitting and you know, you're bringing through a loved one, it's hard sometimes to sit through a reading, because you may be a child, it may be a person you just recently lost. You know, these people are important to you. And so for a medium, you have to control the fact that you're also going to get emotional. We're people. We are people also with emotions and feelings. And in fact, more sensitive than others most of the time, because we have to be. We attune ourselves to this. We have to be more sensitive. We have to be more empathic. We have to feel what the spirit energy is coming down and telling us. The mother, the father, the brother, the child. You know, and what's really interesting is a lot of times when a child comes through, they don't harp on how they crossed, you know, or a loved one that comes through. That's the last thing they want to really harp on or give us that information, because they know it'll hurt or harm the sitter.
Yeah. And you know, at that point too, we trust spirit that they're there for a reason, and that they're coming through with this particular information at this particular time for a reason. They know, on the other side, obviously, they know what you as the sitter need to hear. So sometimes it's not necessarily exactly what you want to hear, but, you know, I mean, they're going to, you know, and sometimes, oh my gosh, sometimes the readings are just totally generic. And you know what? It is what it is. We trust, as mediums, we trust in what we're receiving, okay? But sometimes it's like, I'm really proud of you, is like the message. Now, that sounds like kind of a generic message. And, you know, someone could think, oh, well, gee, they just gave me this generic message. But maybe it was really important for that mother, let's just say, to say to their child, I'm really, really proud of you. because they never got to say it as when they were here on the earth. We don't know. We just have to trust that Spirit is telling us what you need to hear. So.
Oh my gosh, we have seen some of the most amazing changes and transformations when you give a reading and they know and you know that it's meaningful, it's heartfelt, it's somebody that they really cared about and they really wanted to hear from. It's just the most amazing healing in the world. It really is, and it's why we do this. It really is why we do this, for those moments. Think of it this way: when you go to an event, there's a lot of planning that goes on. There's a lot of tables that get set up, chairs that get organized, food, preparation, speakers. The speakers then would come up and give their talks. Well, this is what's happening in the spirit world. They're doing all of this organizing. They know who's going to come to us. They know what's important to be. I mean, they know who would be important in this person's life that they want to hear from. So they line them up. They line them up, and everything gets ready for us. And so they kind of bring that person forward. We'll connect with that person. These are people. They're people. How many times do I have to say that? They're people.
Yeah, we try not to use the word energy too much.
I know. Right? I know. It really is something you got to get rid of. Bring them through, and then the next person comes through, and the next person. It's sort of like by the end of the day, when you're done with these readings, it's like, oh my God, that was just phenomenal. How well orchestrated it becomes. Right. And all we do is we just sit there and we just talk. Yeah. And we express. And we take on their personalities. We take on their characteristics. Yeah. We'll be doing this kind of a thing, or we'll be doing this, or something else that's important, that is reflective of who we're bringing through. It's just wild.
Yeah, and sometimes, well, actually, this ends up happening a lot to me, specifically when I do phone readings as well, as Ed does as well. But sometimes I do the readings in my house. And for some reason, when the people are here, it's always better in person. It's just going to be better in person, I think. But not that phone readings aren't effective. I don't want to give you the wrong impression there. But more times than not, I will have 1, 2, 3 spirits here, 1, 2, 3 spirits there, and they're all just lined up because they want to be part of the reading, you know. And one thing I was going to expand upon what he was saying before was that, you know, sometimes, like, great-great-grandma Sarah will come through first, and you have no idea who this lady is because you never met her, and you just don't know who this lady is, and or you knew her name, you don't know anything about her, so we can't really verify that it's her. But she needs to come through first because for whatever reason, again, this is a trust thing, on the other side, they need to help through who else is coming through. Like your mother. Yes. She may be bringing through your mother. And sometimes that's difficult for the people because sometimes, I don't know if you've had this, I'm sure you have, there'll be like a succession of people that, you know, spirits that come through where the person, they don't know who the people are. Does that make sense? Oh, absolutely. Like they don't know, well, like it was great-great-grandmother or it was the you know, the childhood friend from 50 years ago coming through. And they just don't remember stuff. But there was a reason why those spirits have to come through first in order to bring through other people. Yes. Don't ask us why. Do you have any idea why that is?
Again, it's a comfort level. If they brought through somebody very important right away, you may just kind of withdraw or be unprepared for it. And so they kind of bring this person in, the grandmother or great-grandmother. Then your mother would come through, then another friend would come through, and then finally the one you maybe really wanted to hear would come through. Yeah. It doesn't make sense to us sometimes. In the bigger picture afterwards, when you go through the tapes and you go through the notes that you've taken, it flows. It flows and it makes sense. And that's really what's important. Yeah. It has to make sense to the sitter.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing, too. We don't have all the answers. And any medium that you would go to that tells you they have all the answers, they don't. You know, we like to think that we have a lot of the answers, like we have a lot of the spirits come through and all of that stuff, but you know what? Sometimes we just don't know. I mean...
You know, I'm not a brain scientist or a surgeon or, you know, a diver that goes under the water. So my take on it would be I'm feeling underwater, or I can see injuries to the brain area, but that's about it.
Yeah.
But you're connecting to something that's important.
That's the most important
That's
thing.
the most important thing,
Yeah.
yes. And,
Yeah.
and then, of course, the emotions, the characteristics of the people. You know, you want to bring through who they are, the essence of who they are.
And you know what, too? Another big point before we stop here is try really hard not to have expectations. Because when you go in having certain expectations, you're going to be disappointed. I'm just telling you. I had this lady that she was so sweet. I did a reading for her, and she wanted her, I don't know who it was, she wanted her grandmother. I'm making this up at that point, but she wanted her grandmother to come through. So before I got there, she said, okay, Grandma, if she mentions XYZ, then I'll know it's you. Well, guess what? She didn't mention X, Y, or Z. I gave everything else. There was all this verification. I mean, a ton of stuff, like really specific stuff. But because I didn't mention that one specific thing that she wanted me to, she wasn't fully believing. And I don't know why she didn't give it to me. I mean, I actually tried for it because she said, well, I told her that I would be, and I tried, but...
Yeah, that's more of a lesson for the sitter to learn.
Yeah, that's why.
They're going to have to get over that and realize that there's free will involved.
Yes.
They're not here to serve you. They're not here to convince you.
Yeah.
They're just here for you.
Yeah.
Some things that you'll take away from a reading won't make sense right then, but when you go back again and you start thinking about it and you start going through the reviews, oh my God, I know that.
Yeah.
I know who they were talking about. Those I love those moments because those are those aha homework moments that I'm sending them off with. Okay, if it makes sense, please call me back. Let me know. Love hearing back.
And take notes. Always take notes.
Yeah.
If you're getting a reading from somebody, always take notes because, or record it. That's great. You know, definitely. Hey, you know what? I was just looking at. Do you see behind us? It looks like there's little ghosts. With the shadows.
Oh God.
So that'll be another topic of discussion now, won't it?
Of course. Here we go. Well, again, thank you very much. We look forward to hearing from you. Please email, Facebook, questions, compliments, comments. Open to everything.
Yeah, we're open to it all. And on YouTube here, you can put comments in there too. So, and tell all your friends. Please subscribe if you like this. And we will talk to you guys soon.
Okay, thank you very much.
Have a great night.